Okay, so good. Let me say greetings. I don't know where you are. I'm just doing something. I am on time series analysis. I'm doing something. So I just came across something, and let me bring it to your attention. So how do you write a function to be able to calculate the number of days between two dates? Let's say somebody mentioned a date in the year, some years past, and then a date today. You want to know the total number of days in between. How do you do that? Let me show you. It's not really, yeah, okay. Maybe let me use this one. Okay, so this may be better. So let me pull up. This is my R Studio. Okay, so there's this thing called there's a function called sequence in R, for instance. And so the sequence can actually give you, like, you have something like from something, a particular date to another date, and then it can just give you the sequence or the sequence of things from a particular value to another thing, and then it can just give you whatever it is. And so I can see, let's say from, and remember that in what is it, when you are dealing with date, it's always important to make sure that you put it in. Date is treated like a character or like a factor. So let's say I have this 2012, and then I'm just using this particular format, and then 2, and then 1, and then that's from, sorry, then I just come out of that, and then I have 2, and the 2, I think I should have put some equal sign there. Okay, and then 2, I put some equal sign 2 here. I'm just going to put 20, 23, 02, and then 05, and then I'll come out of it, and then I'll say by, and then what is it, and I'll say by days, right? If so, the by, I'm going to put equal sign there, and then I'll just put another quotation mark like this, and I'll put the days, and then let me see, it's like this is extremely opened. Yeah, so I can see there is an error somewhere. They are saying that something has been error in sequence something from must be what is a finite number. Yeah, so maybe I should have used date function from here, but I'm going to use this particular syntax for us to be able to see whether if we were able to make some sense from whatever I'm going to do today. So let's assume that I want to write a function, but this is what I'm going to use. I'm going to write a function and put this particular sequence there, and then see whether I'll be able to use that particular sequence to calculate, because I would have set this already as a date. I set this as a date, and then of course but maybe that is why it is not seeing whatever that I am doing here. Maybe if this was actually described as a date, I would have known that I'm talking about date, but this is what I'm going to use. So let me come here. I'm going to say I want to write a function that can calculate date. So let me say calculate underscore days, and then that's going to be my function, something like this. And then I'm going to say, so I'm going to write, it's a function, so it's going to, there's going to be a function. So the function is going to take something like 2 variables. So that will be date 1, or let me just put it, I don't like date dot 1, and then another one that will be date dot 2, and then those are the 2 things that I need. And then my function body is going to be like this. So my date dot 1, what kind of variable is that? I'm going to say that I want it to be as date, and so that particular date dot 1 is going to be a date. So Aaron knows that it is a date. I'm going to come down here and say date.to. Oh, that one is also a variable, and I'll also say as dates, and so my date.to is also going to be seen as date. Now when I finish like this, then I can now bring up this particular sequence that I had already created. But in this case, I'm also creating a different variable, and that variable, let me just call it something like L. So let me put capital L, which means like length. I want to calculate the length between the two dates. So the capital L is going to give me something like now I want to do the sequence like that, right? So the sequence is now going to be I'm just going to say, what is it? I have my sequence right now. So I'm going to say for the date, it will be equal to date dot 1 comma 2, and the 2 must take an equal sign to date dot 2, and then we are saying by is also equal to this. So when I do this, I don't know that I am calculating the length of the two dates. I've already declared the two variables as two dates. So what am I going to do again? Now I am going to now calculate the actual days. So let me just put here days, or let me just put here days like this as a variable too, and then I'll come here and say, in that case, it's going to, I want to, because I am actually calculating length between two dates, so I'll use the length function, and then, but I've already given the sequence here, so I will now say the length function into brackets L like this. Then I'll come out and say -1, because you cannot start counting days from the very day, from the same date. So you always take 1 out, because you start counting from 0. And so because it's a function, we return what are we returning? We return days like this. That's all. So when I finished, I'm going to run this, and you see that everything runs just well. Now the next thing is, now anytime you now want, you call the function, and then so you come out of this loop, and then I'll call the function. The function was calculate, and that days, that's the function name here, that's the function name around here. And so here, if I come and click here, you will see that it's asking me date 1 and then date 2. So I need to put date 1 here and date 2. Now let me put a date that is familiar to all of us. So let's say I have what dates? The year Kufuor took over power, that was 2001, right? And so remember, date is always put in double quotes because they are seen as characters or factors. So it was 2001, and this is how the date is put. Check the syntax, dash. It took over, that was January 7th. Then you come out the next date, and when did he leave power? 2009. Sorry, it has to be in double quote. 2009 dash January and six. So when you do like this, 921 days. So we could have packed this as, and then we could have just done this and pack it into a variable called days like this, so that when I run it, the answer will be packed into days. So now we know the days. If we now want to calculate the number of years Kufuor spent in an office, we say the days divided by how many days make a year. So we say divided by 365 days, and then we calculate, and you can see that the answer is here. That means he spent 8 years, 8 years and some few days. So that's why it is 8.0024. Very negligible. He spent 8 years, and then that's exactly because obviously there were leap years. There were leap years within maybe the two terms. Maybe some years were leap, so you will have more than what I have given here. It will be like 63, 66 days in that order. So this is how we are able to write a function. So anytime somebody now wants you to calculate the days or the weeks, for instance, if I wanted weeks, I would have just come here and say what is the days. Sorry, days. How many weeks make? And we know that there are about 52 weeks, 52.2 weeks, and then that will tell you that there are about 55, about 56 weeks, or something like that. If we wanted years whatsoever, we could have also gone ahead to divide the weeks by the total number of months or something like that. So, but I always want to just go ahead with only the days and then the years. If you don't want to break it into months, you know what to divide it into, and then you have it over there. This is the simplest way that we can actually do. So what did I do here? Let me bring the function a little bit down and then pull this down, and then I can explain it a little bit better. So you create a function. The function is the function name, and then use the function to declare the variables you want to use to calculate, to do whatever. When you enter the function body, that's where you do everything that you now want, all your algorithms, you write them there. So first of all, you need to declare the two variables and let R know the kind of variables they are. So I'm declaring this particular variable, and I'm saying that I want that variable to be a date. It should be called, it's a date. That's why I use the function as date. And so anytime R sees what is the date, it will know that I am talking about a date. And so you do that for the second variable, and then you now calculate, you now use the sequence to be able to know the number of days between the two dates. And that's why I put here by days. If I had put here by weeks, it will only calculate weeks. And so if I put here by months, it would have been calculating months. And then that is how we are able to return, or we are able to calculate whatsoever. Now when I finish and I run it, the function will be there. So anytime you now want to calculate, you don't have to go through any laborious process. You just, like your calculator, you just tap two things. So I'll just say calculate underscore. You see that days, like this. It will ask me of two dates. Any date at all you now want, I can think of any date at all. Let me say, what is it? Let me look at, okay, the year 2003. So 2003, and then I'll just go ahead and say, let's say January, and then we say let's say 8, and then that's one of it. Sorry about that. And then you put another date to 20. So I just put any date at all there, and when you go, you calculate, that's going to give you, it's going to give you some kind of date. And so you can see that you have 15 days. So 2003 to 2023, I think there's a problem somewhere. 2003, so let me calculate that again and see. So, but I think you have the idea of how this is supposed to work. There's something that has interfered with me here. There was water on my table that I just poured. I'm sorry about that. So this is how you are able to calculate your days using a function. You just write a function, and then you are able to calculate your days, and that's it. So I have 2003 January 8th to 2023 this, and then it's giving me no, this one is not correct. I'm not too sure. I'll check that pretty soon, and then I'll see what is happening. because I just calculated this, and that one was quite okay, and then yeah, it was quite okay. This one is not correct. This was 2001, so 2003 to 2023, it shouldn't be. Okay. This is where I made a mistake. Thank you. Here, I was supposed to make it in the form of date. This one, it just gave me, it's just ordinary figures. All right, so if you do like that, it's going to give you, so that was why I made a mistake. I just indicated that dates are always put in double quotes because I'm using the function date. Yeah, so that was the reason. So now if you check here, you can see that we have whatsoever. I could have just divided that by 365. Let me put the division sign there, and then you run that, and then we likely will get what, 20. We're likely to get how many weeks? That's about 20. About 20 years. Sorry, that'll be about like 20 years. 2003 to 2023. Yeah, 20 years. It's not today. 20 years. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is how we are able to write a function to calculate whatsoever that you wanted to calculate. Thank you. So that's quite simple, right? Yeah. So thanks.